The profound and tragic aspect of the Johnson presidency and Lady Bird's experience of it is that they, of course, lived through three political assassinations. First, that of JFK, which brings the Johnsons into the White House. Second, in March of 1968, that of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., April 4th, 1968. And 2 months later, in June of 1968, Robert F. Kennedy. What astounds me about Lady Bird, among other things, is her ability to, throughout all of this, find time alone, whether she's in a hotel, at the ranch, or in her sitting room in the White House, to record the experience of these assassinations and their aftermath. She really, by June of 1968, when this photograph was taken, this photograph, I'll set the stage in a second, has been documenting and gathering. By now, she's already started raising funds and making plans and finding the architect for the LBJ Presidential Library. She's commissioning oral histories. She's sending out requests for people to donate to the library. Her mind is on legacy. And one of the things that she knew she always had to do was to make sure that the presidential portrait was painted before, not only before Lyndon left the White House, but before, God forbid, he might have a stroke or something like Woodrow Wilson had and become debilitated in the White House. This photograph shows on the, as we look at it, on the left, Madame Elizabeth Shumatoff, who's the presidential portraitist who was with FDR at Warm Springs and had begun to paint his portrait and had to finish it later after he died. Shumatoff also painted her portrait. Lady Bird sat for it first to get a sense of Madame Shumatoff, to test the waters for LBJ, decided she was the one, and had put on the calendar June 7th, 1968 for this sitting. So if you can imagine, Bobby Kennedy is assassinated on June 4th. It takes him more than 24 hours to die. On June 8th, they're going to be leaving to go to the funeral at St. Patrick's Cathedral. The White House is an incredibly difficult place to be during these 3-day interim period. But the Johnsons leave the Shumatoff sitting on LBJ's schedule. And this I really love because it shows Lady Bird as the orchestrator of the image making and also as the animator of her subject and Shumatoff's subject. LBJ comes and he's tired and he's exhausted. And one of the things that you can't see but that he's holding in his hand is a letter that Chuck Robb, his son-in-law, has written to him from Vietnam. So he's sitting there reading the letters out loud, Lady Bird in the corner, and they're about to get ready the next and sitting for what becomes his official presidential portrait. And the next morning they leave for New York for Kennedy's funeral.